thing. It's not in West Texas issue to deal with. Do y'all have any like flood-prone areas in
Yeah.
Lubbock County?
Bayou Lakes.
Huh? Some areas that-
Bayou Lakes around it.
Do what now?
The small Bayou Lakes around town are
Okay.
actually a drainage system.
I've seen those too, actually. Haven't seen them flood yet. I hope I don't see them flood. It just rained too much when I was out here, but I've seen little lakes. I guess the water will kind of build up there at times. Subject related adjustments are always made after you do your market related adjustments. So we're gonna do our market adjustments first, our time, our financing, then we're gonna talk about subject related adjustments. Substitution is the principle that says no one will pay more for a property than will pay for an acceptable substitute. Replacement cost new, usually that's the upper limit. We talked about if there's homes for sale on South Main for $200,000 a pop, and you can go over 2 blocks over on South Congress, you can buy a very similar house for $190,000. You might buy the one for $190,000. And you might not though, right? What could affect your decision sometimes in that case? Real common nowadays. School district. You want your kid to be in XYZ school district. You might have to pay a little more money to be in a certain school district for your kids to go to school there. I see that happening even in my small world. People are paying a little more in a certain area because there's this stigma their schools are better. And I think that stigma's been gone a long time. And I'll tell you, it's not a funny thing, it's a fact. There's only been 3 exemplary campuses in Wise County, the TEA ratings over the last 10 years, and all 3 of those was Chico Elementary, and the rest of the county swears we're cheating, okay? Because there's no way Chico's exemplary to anything, and the rest of the county's mine. But it went back to one principle. She did not give the teachers any other choice than to make it work. You're coming tomorrow at 8, 7:30 and tutoring, you're staying till 5 o'clock and tutoring. The kids need to keep up. She signed them time slots. You had to do it. You do it my way, or you hit the highway, and it worked, okay? Now, since she's left, it's kind of fell off. But she just demanded excellence and instilled that in her people. And I have a daughter that's kind of assistant principal now, kind of believes the same way. Because they had their test scores come back one time, and passing for state was 76, and Chico made 76, and had a party to celebrate that. And Brianne's statement to the rest of them was, today I celebrate average, is the day I need to do something else for a living. We need to expect more than average, okay? That's part of it, though. It's that way through children. You expect your kids to mount to something, and they fall a little short, they're okay. If you don't expect nothing, and you get less than nothing, you're in trouble, okay? But anyway, we've all seen that, okay? Supply and demand. It's a huge factor. Model reflects supply and demand in the marketplace. Price directly influences, but inversely influences demand. We said if demand increases, no change in supply, values will decline. As supply increases, no change in demand, values will decline. As supply decreases with no change in demand, value will rise, won't it? It's all about supply and demand. Think about trying to buy, trying to think. This is a great week, great, you know, Valentine's Day is Thursday, okay? You could have bought a dozen roses any other time of the year for a whole lot less money, couldn't you? But now then, this week, they're more expensive. I did something last year I haven't done in a while. I'm not the guy that sends the wife a dozen roses at work that cost me $100. I've done that last year, okay? I'm the guy that buys them at the grocery store on the way home, okay? I'm just telling you who I am, okay? What we found last year, the $100 dozen roses I sent her at work last year died in about 3 days. Those grocery store ones will last 2 weeks, okay?
Yes, they do. They do
Anyway,
last longer.
So we did make an observation last year. She did observe that herself personally. She felt better because everybody at work gets roses sent to the office. If that's what you want, honey, I can handle that, okay? But, you know, I can buy them for $29.95 too. So anyway, so we'll see how it goes. It's a crazy world, isn't it? Surplus productivity, income on property after the 4-H production land capital and management be paid, the income is attributable to the land itself. Vacancy collection loss is a loss from two separate sources. So you got vacancy loss, you got collection loss. So they got 10 properties in the building, they've only had 9 of them rented last year, so we got a 10% vacancy problem. We have one tenant who didn't pay us 3 months last year, we got a collection problem, don't we? So you can have two different factors there, vacancy and collection problems.
And aren't they calculated with the same formula?
Yes, in the same B and C's together. But somebody starts telling me they had a 25% collection loss last year, I tell them, you were not a very good operator. You should have booted them the curb after the second month, okay? They didn't pay you the first month, give them some grace. Second month, send them out the street, you know what I'm saying? You don't wanna do that, but the fact is, if you got somebody wanting to rent that space, you're better off moving them out than what they do for 20 years. I don't care, they're gonna pay you on time, okay? Anyway, value in the marketplace is also market value we talked about. Let's talk a little, whoa, trigger. Now that wasn't operated yet. See, I push it one time. One time, one time, one time. Here,
It's your PowerPoint.
Huh?
It's
Yep.
not
Telekinetic, what do you call it? I'll bring that WD-40 fix this problem. No, let me do it. This is not funny either. Okay, just try this. Oh, quick a minute doing this too. Oh, there we go. Here we go. It may be sticking what it may be doing, I don't know. WD-40 will not do electronic devices very much good though. Okay. Sales comparison approach or the direct sales comparison technique. It indicates value from the market by comparing properties similar to the subject that have sold. So think about if you're trying to buy, if you want to buy a house. How many of you have bought a house or sold a house? How many of y'all bought a house? So what did you do before you bought the house? Did you do market analysis? Or did somebody do it for you? Or did you figure out how much you could spend? Or both? Neither. How many of y'all sold a house? If you sold a house, what do you want to make sure? Make sure you get all the money you can get, right? So when you bought a house, did you not try to get a good deal? Maybe. So you probably should have did some analysis. You might not have understood it back then either, but you might have done some analysis to say, hey, how much is this house worth? How many of y'all went to the appraisal district records and checked the value before you tried to buy the house? Huh?
There were no appraisal districts.
Right. Okay. Pre-CAD days, okay? So some people will check our records when they try to buy a house. Some people will do their own market analysis. Some people do different things. So when it comes down to buying a house, unless you got cash, there's got to be a market analysis done to get you the mortgage, to get your financing, etc. So sometimes people have to understand about the sales comparison, direct sales comparison approach. We'll talk about deriving the market value from the price that other people pay for properties in the marketplace. And it directly reflects actions of buyers and sellers. What are people paying for similar houses, and what are sellers getting for similar houses? See, the market, I mean, now in my world, I would probably tell you to do a sales analysis and ask 10% more. You can always come down. Because people right now are just crazy. They want your house. They want your house. Now we've had a few situations in the past where we had somebody pay like $175 for a 1,200 square foot house back 20 years ago. So almost 150 bucks a foot 20 years ago. And my appraiser at the time, former appraiser, chased that sale. I'm gonna tell you what happened, she chased that sale. There was no way to prove that sale. So the lady comes in, and somehow I get stuck, I mean, I get to talk to her, stuff with her. And so I just asked the question, why did you pay that for the house? And she tears up a little bit, and she tells me her daughter and son-in-law live 2 doors down. This place is on the corner, and it's a real pretty place, a couple acres. And she tells him, if you ever want to sell it, call me first and I'll buy it. With these 2 doors down from my daughter and son-in-law, it will keep me out of a nursing home a little sooner than I have to go otherwise. I said, do you want a 175 for it? Wrote him a check, moved in. I said, some more oil money piled up, bought it. So there's a motivation there that she paid more than the market value of the property. So sometimes that happens. But anyway, here's the 5 steps to the sales comparison approach. The first step is you're talking about we're going to find the appraisal problem. And that's generally going to be to determine the market value of the property using comparable sales. We're going to collect and analyze the data. We're going to try to find what? Similar properties, similarly located, closer to the subject property in location, size, quality, amenities, the better in it. It's ideal to have 3 or 4 really good comps within 2 blocks of the house, right? Is that always possible? No. Sometimes you're lucky to get 1 comp that's good, and you got 2 that are so-so, or you got 3 so-so ones sometimes, don't you? It's kind of hard to, you don't always have the perfect storm, do you? So you're going to select the appropriate units of comparison. You're going to say, okay, we got these houses, and we know one of them is 1,500 square foot, we know one of them is 1,600 square foot, we know one of them is 1,700 square foot. They're all similarly sized, so we're going to figure out how we're going to compare that information. We know the lots are very similar. We know everything else about it is similar. Then we're going to try to make reasonable adjustments based upon market information the market tells us. Then we're going to apply the data to the subject property, deriving a final value estimate. I actually had a taxpayer last year come in. I had sent him 4 sales, 5 sales he requested prior to the hearing. They came to the hearing. It's well to be like a 5-year-old house. All very nice houses. They're very nice stone houses. They're 2 to 5 acre lots covered with pecan trees. They all kept them very well. I sent him my comps, and he wanted to go first. And his first response to the ARB chairperson was, well, Mickey sent me these comps, and my lot's 2.75 acres, and none of these properties match my lot size. Mine's 2.54. He sent me some of them that are 3 acres, some of them that are 3.25, and some of them are 2.5. That's his first statement. His second statement was, none of them match my square foot. My square foot is 2350. He sent me some 2400s, some 2425s, some 2250s. So none of these match my square footage either. So he's basically saying none of these comps match. But he didn't understand. You feel sorry for him a little bit then, that it's not going to be an exact match. We're going to adjust those features out. He thought they should be, I should have sent him 4 comps, same acreage, same square footage, same amenities. Well, dream on, buddy, okay? My world would be a lot easier if I could do that for you, okay? Anyway, so that, sometimes they're thinking ours is different. Like I said, we're going to apply this data to the subject property and try to determine a value estimate then, aren't we? Not bad. Talked about earlier market-related adjustments. These are first things we do is the market-related adjustments. The first thing we want to do is determine what adjustments we need to make in the marketplace. Some things we talk about is market conditions. Make sure they meet the definition of market transaction. If it's not, disregard the sale. What if we have a foreclosure sale? You know, we say throw it out, but yet there's some provisions in the tax code that says if it's in the neighborhood in the last 3 years, you can't just exclude it because it's foreclosure, can you? So if it's in let's just go back 3 years to the 2, so it kind of makes that door wider, so to speak. So throw it in there. It may have some conditions though. It could be a foreclosed house that was torn all to pieces or needs some work. So there's ways of kind of analyzing that. Just for financing. if somebody, like I said earlier, if somebody put $5,000 towards the purchaser's financing, we might be able to take a $5,000 off sales price, couldn't we? All right, time adjustment. These are always really fun. Everybody wants to do time adjustments, don't we? We literally had issues last year or situations that somebody bought a house in January 2017, and we are telling you now it's worth 10% more than you paid for it last year. That's hard for them to swallow. Because why? Their taxes are going up, okay? But some of them knew that already. Some of them understood that I bought this house for, we had a particular subdivision. People bought them for $295 or $299. Within 6 months or so, them for $325 to $335. Same house, same floor plan, same everything. They knew that though. They actually knew those houses had jumped $35,000 in 6 months, 10%. Choke me. Financing, if they had any financing from the seller, and time adjustments, the one seller adjustments is pretty easy to determine in your MLS sheet, but the one you get into trying to explain to a taxpayer about a time adjustment, they're not real crazy about that, are they? You know, I've only owned it a year. Yeah, I know you owned it a year. Okay, subject-related adjustments. Look at the example. Slow down. Okay. Look at your form. Look at your every page. Current sales price minus the original sales price divided by the original sales price divided by the number of months equals percentage change. Here's an example. The current sales price was $70,000. The original sales price was $60,000, and it occurred over a 12-month period. So what are we going to do there? So we're going to take the $70,000 minus the $60,000 divided by the $60,000 divided by 12 equals 0.0139 or 1.39% per month. Think about a formula. The formula could be current sales price minus original sales price divided by the original sales price divided by the number of months equal percentage change. The question could ask you, what is the annual percentage change or the monthly percentage change? Read the darn question, okay? That'll make a difference, won't it? Subject-related adjustments are made to sales that are similar to subject property. These are made after the market-related adjustment, and they may be made in any order that may be necessary. The next page has an example. Y'all worked on this page? Has this worked? It's not worked? Oh, boy. Let's talk about this thing a little bit, okay? It's actually telling us right here on my screen. Why don't we do this? Let's look at it first. Now, I will tell you this, so don't get wiggy about it, okay? The examples they have on these exams and stuff, I refer to them as candy land, okay? They'll all adjust out generally the same number at the bottom, okay? In the real world, will that happen? Not much chance, okay? So when you're adjusting these here, it's kind of like it's a Candyland deal. All of them are going to kind of come out the same, whereas in reality, that won't generally happen. Let's talk about these adjustments here, okay? If we want to talk about time adjustment, so it tells us here, let's go and throw it up here. It's kind of, we're going to do it on the board, that way you'll kind of understand it a little better. If we're going to talk about time adjustments, what does it tell us about two of these sales? It tells us sale number 2 and sale number 5 both sold what? It sold twice, hasn't it? So we know that what? Look up here. Sale number 2 sold for 39,000. It's operating for you now. 34.8. So it went up $4,200. So it went up 12%. It went up 1% a month, didn't it? So we know it sold for 39, sold for 34.8 earlier. It went up $4,200 in a 12-month period. That's equal to 1% a month. So we know that went up 1% a month, don't we? We know that cell number 5 also sold for 40,000 recently, sold for 37,735 about 6 months ago. We know it went up $2,265 in a 6-month period, or 1% a month. So those two sales right there give us a clear indicator of what? 1% a month appreciation, right? Let's talk about brick versus frame. Another thing we gotta determine. What we'll do, let's just do this right here. We're gonna compare each one of these categories to see which two are the same except for one feature, okay? So in this case, if we compare number 1 versus number 2, what do we got difference? We got brick versus frame, we got 2 baths versus 1, so we got 2 differences there. That won't give us an indicator. We compare 1 versus 3. Both of them are brick, both of them are 2 baths. One's got heat and air, so it's got 1 adjustments for heat and air, doesn't it? Yeah. Then, if we want to do 1 versus 4, both of them are brick. One of them's got 2 baths. One of them's got 1 bath, heat and air, 2 different variations. Let's look at 1 versus 5 here. What's the difference in 1 versus 5? What's the only difference? Huh?
Construction.
Brick versus frame in it. So what's it tell us brick's worth? We compare 1 to 5, and the only difference is brick versus frame. How much is brick worth? 2 grand, right? So we found out that A times 1%, brick versus frame is worth 2 grand. Let's compare those baths. Let's look at 2 versus 5. Everything's the same except what? 2 baths versus 1 bath. What does that tell us the bath's worth? $1,000.
On the second sale.
Huh? If you do 2 versus 5, it tells us the 1 bath versus 2 baths, the difference of $1,000. So we know the bath's worth 1,000, the brick's worth 2,000. How much is central heat and air worth versus heat? So we compare 1 versus 3. They're the same except for what? Heat only, heat and air. So heat and air is worth how much more than heat? 2 grand. Now then, that's the hard part. Let me go back. The hard part is figuring out these comparatives. But all you gotta do, all I do, in my mind, is I start going like this. I compare 1 versus 2. What's the difference in 1 and 2? Too many things. 1 versus 3, 1 thing, heat and air. The difference in 1 and 3 is 2 grand for heat and air, okay? 1 versus 4, 1 versus 5. You can just have to cover up on your paper and just break it down to which 2 are the similar, except for 1 variance. That becomes your calculation variance. Now then, you're going to know what to do with this. We know our subject property is frame. This is bricks. We take our 2,000, we take it off of our brick house to make it match our frame house, okay? We're going to adjust it to make our comps match our subject. So in the case of number 1, the only variance is what? Brick versus frame. So we're going to adjust this number 1 sales price by 2 grand. And that's going to be because of brick versus frame in it. The comp number 2, though, it has it's frame. It has a 1 bath versus a 2 bath. So all we got to adjust on comp number 2 is what? $1,000 for an extra bath. That make sense? Comp number 3, though, what's the difference? It's the difference in brick and frame. It's the difference in heat and air and heat only. So what are we going to do here? We're going to take off 2 grand to make it match the frame. We're going to take off 2 grand because it has heat and air to make it match the heat only. So we're going to take 4 grand off of number 3. 2 total adjustments. Take off 4 grand, 40 grand. Number 4, it's difference in brick and frame, difference in bath, difference in heat and air only too, see? It's got 3 variables on number 4. So we're going to take off 2 grand for brick. We're going to add a grand because we got 2 baths rather than 1. Take off 2 grand for heat and air. We're going to adjust 3 grand off of 4. And then cell number 5, well, actually, we just rewind just a minute. Back up just a minute. You gotta do our time adjustments first. Let's get that. This is current. That's current. We had to make a 12% adjustment on number 3 because it occurred 12 months ago. We're adding 12% right here. We're adding 6% right there. 3 of them wind up being current sales. 2 of them require time adjustments. 39,286 occurred 12 months ago. We got to add 12% to that because the time. And cell number 4 occurred 6 months ago. And we got to add the 6% for time. I think I got the card ahead of the horse, but I've done it before. The cart unit catches up.
You said, 3 of them are current?
You got current. You got 1 year ago sales price and a current price both. We got our time.
Because there were
adjustments
2
off.
sales?
This is a current sale and a 1 year ago sale. 2 and 5 both sold a year ago, 6 months ago, and currently. So we got our time. But we got to adjust our others. This one actually current. These 2 got to be adjusted 12% and 6% when they occurred 12 months and 6 months ago. Then we come in and do our individual adjustments. In this case, we get an adjusted value of $40,000. Your examples are going to come out like this. They're going to be 40,000, 43,000. Real world doesn't happen this way, okay? For Candyland or for test purposes, it's always sweet, okay? No way you kind of know. If you get a couple of them the same, you're probably on the right track, okay? Everybody thinks this is a monster problem. They get concerned about it. But here's the deal. It's just taking each component and comparing it, okay? We get our first thing on our 2 time. A lot of times it'll give you the time adjustment. It'll say time adjustment 1% a month. It'll tell you how much time adjustment is. But the construction, the brick and frame, the bass, central heat and air, it's just a matter of looking at each pair to find out which single item is the difference to use for readjustments. Does that make sense? I probably want to oversimplify it, but it's just that kind of the way it works, okay? You ready for a break? Take a 10-minute break, we'll come back. We'll do some, build some schedules, and then we'll get into some multipliers, and then we'll spend lots of time on some practice problems here in this section.
Mr. Henry, were you gonna convert this into a PDF? And
I've actually done that.
Did you?
I'll email it to you, okay?
Okay.
Actually, I emailed him last, he sent me an email reminder, I emailed him last night.
Okay.